Okay, perfect.
Okay, so do you want to start this thing?
Yeah, we can definitely start. And then that way we can get through the information. And if anyone else joins, then we can kind of pick up from there. But yeah, just to introduce myself, going forward from here, I'm Rebecca. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at Embry Riddle, and I work with students from the Midwest, North Pacific, so kind of your area in Illinois and some of the surrounding states, as well as Washington State and Oregon. And so I will make sure the computer sound is shared. Just a little bit about our history. We're founded in 1926 as Embry Riddle Flight School. So we are very well known for our flight program, of course. We're founded in Miami, Florida, so about an hour south of where I grew up. And then in 1965, we actually shifted from Miami to Daytona Beach and established our first residential campus. And that's where we became Embry Riddle Aeronautical University, not just a flight school. And then in 1970, we established our worldwide campus. So this is actually for any student who's interested in completing a degree online. So they can technically attend Embry Riddle from anywhere in the world. And then in 1978, we established our second residential campus in Prescott, Arizona. So we do have some representation. Yes, question.
In 1970, you went online?
So we have our two residential campuses and our worldwide campus. So if a student wants to attend a residential campus, they can attend either Daytona Beach or Prescott. But if they wanted to complete a degree completely online, they can attend our worldwide campus.
Right, yes. But here it says your history, 1970, you established the worldwide campus.
Correct.
So in 1970, you established an online education. Yes. In 1970.
Yes.
How is that possible? I don't.
So there were some. It started out. It did evolve more into online. There were some satellite campuses at military bases, and so it did start out as more satellite campuses at certain military bases and certain places around the world, and then it evolved into what is now our online campus.
Because I'm like, as far as I know, from my thinking back, when I graduated high school, there still wasn't internet. It wasn't until 1988 that there was internet when I was in college.
So sorry for that discrepancy. So there are some like satellite locations, but it evolved into what is now like the worldwide online campus.
I thought maybe you guys had a leg up because you're aeronautics. You had something going on that we didn't know about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we do luckily offer a lot more than just aviation programs, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on as well. And then, like in 1978, our Prescott, Arizona campus was founded. So we do have the two residential campuses on either coast, Daytona Beach and Prescott. And then next is actually a video showing all of our programs. So I'll talk more about academics later as well, but next is kind of just a glimpse at everything that we offer. So next, so just a glimpse at each of our campuses. So like I briefly mentioned, we do have the 2 residential campuses, so you can see a snapshot of each of those locations. Just geographically, of course, they are a little bit different. So our Daytona Beach campus is about 5 miles from the beach, and our Arizona campus is about 2 hours north of Phoenix and about 20 degrees cooler. So luckily, both are great locations because the student can choose between either the beach or the mountains, essentially.
Right.
So it's great for the student to still attend Embry-Riddle, regardless of what their preference is geographically. And both campuses have over 300 plus days of flight days. So for students interested in our flight program, luckily that is something that does set our campuses apart, is that we do have so many, like a lot more flight days compared to maybe some other schools with strong aviation programs.
Right.
And in that Florida picture, you can actually see our new Student Union building on the right, and on the left is our College of Arts and Science building. It
looks like a beautiful campus.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's very nice.
It's a big mirrored building, the student center.
Yes. Well, so those are all like windows. Yeah, so it's gorgeous for sure. And then the College of Arts and Sciences building on the left, actually really cool fun fact about that building as well is that little dome there is we actually have the largest collegiate telescope in the Southeast. So that's actually a telescope. So our astronomy and astrophysics majors are able to utilize that as a resource in their program. And then the Arizona campus, you can see a snapshot there as well. Of course, very different geographical location compared to Florida, but like I mentioned, about 2 hours north of Phoenix, about 4 hours south of the Grand Canyon. So it's a great place if students like to go mountain biking or hiking. And then worldwide, like I mentioned, started with those satellite campuses at military bases, but now, is an opportunity for students to complete a degree with Embry-Riddle anywhere in the world. And then next, just to go a little bit into undergraduate populations on each campus, Daytona Beach is just over 6,700 students. Prescott is about half the size with just over 3,000 students. So both residential campuses are a great size because it really is a balance between a community type of feel on campus. It's small enough where you get to know familiar faces, and we have small class sizes, but you're not seeing the same 20 people on campus all the time. We do have very much a vibrant student life and a great opportunity for students to create a well-rounded experience on campus. And then worldwide has just over 17,600 students enrolled. And then next is a video actually with students from each of our residential campuses talking about more of their experience on each campus. So it'll start with Arizona and then go into Florida.
Okay.
Because the campus is so small and it's such a tight-knit community, very, very quickly you become at home in Prescott and in Embry-Riddle.
It's a different environment from a really big university. You walk around and most people, you know their names, and even if you don't, you recognize their faces.
Being close to the Grand Canyon and Sedona, it's a great opportunity to get outside of school and do some outdoor stuff.
Embry-Riddle makes it really easy to get involved. I really like hiking and bouldering, so I think that's really fun.
We have some really cool clubs here on campus. There's really something to do for everybody here, and if we don't have it, you can start your own club.
Greek life is probably one of the best decisions I've made. Maybe at the beginning you don't know too many people, but right away you put right into the spirit of Embry-Riddle.
One of the special things we have is a lot of airspace. We have a lot of places to go fly that aren't very busy. We also have mountainous terrain, high altitude operations.
The flight line here at Embry-Riddle is located right at the airport. So the students are basically surrounded by aviation.
In Arizona, we have an incredible amount of wonderful flying weather, over 300 days a year.
This has been the most exciting time of my life. I've become a lot more confident in who I am, and I feel like I know myself a lot better.
Embry-Riddle Prescott is a great place to go to school. Even though it's small, it's very full of life.
It's very nice to be surrounded by people that have a love and an interest for what it is that you're interested in.
We have a strong community. We are all pushing for each other, and we want to see each other succeed.
Daytona Beach is pretty great. I love the beach. Just to have that opportunity to go to school and be able to surf in the same day even, that's pretty cool.
I'm from Sweden, where it's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and I'm in Daytona Beach, where it's sunny basically all year around, and I have 10 minutes to the beach. Could it be any more perfect?
One thing that a lot of people don't know about Embry-Riddle is that it is literally adjacent to the Daytona Beach International Airport. You can actually walk to your flights from the school. You get to become really good friends with your classmates. There's no large classrooms here, and you really get to develop some strong relationships.
I've met many different people from all walks of life, and it all helped me to grow as a person and as a professional.
It really does feel like a big family to me, and that's another reason why I love it here.
I fell in love with the weather, the fleet, the culture, the people. After visiting down here, my mind was pretty much made up.
So with that being said, next I'll go a little bit more into why we believe students choose Embry-Riddle. We do attribute that a lot to the tangible experiences and the wider worldview that students would get by being on campus. One thing I do love to mention as well, just with our application process, is that when a student applies and gets accepted, they actually are accepted directly into the program that they apply to. There's no applying to the university and then waiting a year or two to apply to a specific major. So that does attribute a lot to the tangible experiences they get on campus, because they'll start classes related to their major right from their first semester. Yes, question?
What if they apply to the air traffic program and for some reason they're not approved? Can they put a secondary, can they just apply to Embry-Riddle without having a major?
So they will need to apply to a specific major, but if they don't qualify for the major that they apply to, we will for. So we won't outright deny them if they don't qualify for the major that they apply to. We'll work with that student to give them their options, to be able to get them accepted and, you know, for whatever they do qualify for.
Right, so I'm guessing it's like easier to get into computer science or computer forensics than it is to get into the aerospace program.
So we do have technical and non-technical degrees. So there are a list of certain degrees that are technical that have a little bit of stricter requirements compared to our non-technical degrees. So actually it's all of our College of Engineering majors, a few majors in the College of Arts and Sciences that are technical. So these are majors that require either a full credit of trigonometry or pre-calculus and a little bit of a higher GPA. And then our non-tech degrees include like the College of Business, College of Aviation, and then the other College of Arts and Sciences degrees. So that's kind of what our admissions requirements are. So of course, if someone applies to aerospace engineering and doesn't meet that math requirement or the GPA requirement, we'll work with them with their options.
Okay.
So with that being said, to elaborate more on the tangible experiences, even though Daytona Beach is about twice the size as Prescott, both campuses have average class sizes under 30. So that's really great. We don't have any lecture halls on campus, and students will only ever be taught by professors. So they really do get to connect with professors that have experiences in the field that they're teaching, and they'll get to know them very well, and the professors will definitely hold them accountable. They'll know when they're not in class. But then again, they're also a great connection for the students starting from their first semester. So it just is an opportunity for students to get internships, you know, starting a lot sooner, professional experience, and that really does lead to our high placement rate. So we are very happy with that number. It's 94% for students graduating. That number is representing students actually getting a job within their intended career field, not just any job. So their actual major and how it relates to that major within a year of graduation. So these are students that either got a job or went on to a master's program. And with that being said, we aren't only academics all the time. We have 350 plus organizations and clubs on campus. And like you heard in the video as well, if there somehow is not a club on campus that the student wants to join, they can definitely create a club on campus as well. That does have a lot to do with the fact that we are like a small to medium-sized school. So it really allows the student to be able to make an impact on campus. Actually, a really cool club at both residential campuses is a skydiving club. So typically the parents don't love that club, but the students love it. So they can join it if they want to. And our Daytona Beach campus is actually about 30 minutes from the skydiving capital of the world. So that's actually a really unique opportunity for the students if they wanted to be a part of that club. And then next are actually a couple of videos showing student projects. So the first video is more general and actually shows a little bit about some of the students' like labs and classrooms that they can take advantage of. And then the second video is actually a deeper look at a glimpse you'll get in the first one. So I'll show you the first video. The second video that you got a glimpse of in the first video is a senior capstone project from a couple students at our Prescott campus with a testing facility with hot fire engines.
Our senior capstone project is a liquid rocket engine named Janus, and its accompanying testing facility named Test Cell 3.
And the purpose of that is to basically establish a liquid rocket test facility here at Embry-Riddle and make an engine worthy of flying.
We've been working towards this for the last 4 years, doing rocket projects, helping with other things, and seeing it finally culminate with a hot fire in under 2 semesters was absolutely incredible.
Well, this is quite possibly the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, and I've worked at NASA.
Wow.
So next I will talk about, you got a glimpse there, but more opportunities for students to get involved on campus. One of those things being athletics. So our Daytona Beach campus is NCAA Division II with 9 men's sports and 11 women's sports. Some of those being basketball, baseball, cross country, track and field. And then Prescott has NAIA Division II sports with 5 men's sports and 6 women's sports. One of those being wrestling. And they did actually just recently establish a baseball team as well. We don't have a football team, but other than that, we have a lot of other options. So if a student was interested in playing a Division II sport, they most definitely can.
Okay.
Actually, part of those 350 plus clubs and organizations, as well as a lot of club and intramural sports as well. So if a student is not necessarily interested in doing Division II and maybe supporting their friends, they can still do club and intramural sports if they wanted to. And then to speak more about the wider worldview that that our students would get by attending Embry-Riddle, we do quite literally say that a lot of our students do get a wider worldview from up above and all around, because a lot of them do spend time in a plane, and part of their degree program is the flight training component of the aeronautical science degree. But even for our students that do stay on the ground, they do get a wider worldview by being on campus as well. We do have representation on our campuses from all 50 states and over 100 countries. So we do have a strong international representation on our campus, as well as representation from all across the United States. I can definitely say for working with students specifically from the Midwest and North Pacific, I did bring in over 100 students from my territory, so luckily there is a lot of representation from your area, and those students would not be alone, so they would have that connection with other students on campus from that specific area, but then also be able to meet people from all over the world at either residential campus. So it really allows them to connect with people and immerse themselves with different cultures just by the interactions that they have every day on campus. And then other opportunities that they can also pursue by being on campus. One of those is study abroad. So there are a couple, actually a lot of different programs that a student can join if they wanted to. And we like to say that they can basically pick anywhere they want to go and that there's a possibility of them being able to go there. One cool opportunity is for our Homeland Security students to be able to go to Berlin. And then another interesting opportunity is for engineering students to do something called OLA engineering. And this is for those students to be able to go to a Spanish-speaking country. So for anyone that wants to study abroad, there's different opportunities, whether it's a summer term or during a fall or spring term. So they can basically go any time of the year as well. Another opportunity is ROTC. We do have all 4 branches of ROTC at the Daytona Beach campus. And then the Prescott campus has both Air Force and Army. So there are a lot of scholarship opportunities as well through ROTC. Obviously a bit of a commitment on campus and afterwards as well. But if a student is interested in a specific branch, then I can connect them with that ROTC department and definitely get them connected to ask those questions about applying to scholarships and the commitment and all of that. And then Greek Life is another opportunity on our campus as well. We do have over 20 Greek organizations on our campuses. I love talking about it, even though I was someone in college who purposefully did not join Greek Life. I know I was very concerned about the negative stereotype behind joining Greek Life, and I was concerned as someone who wanted to focus on, joining other things that I was passionate about. Was I not going to be able to fit in? But luckily, the culture of Greek Life on Embry-Riddle's campus is very great in the sense that it's not at all pressured upon our students. It's really just another organization that students can join if they're interested and passionate about things like philanthropy or community service. So it is a great way for students to meet other students on campus and be involved, but not necessarily have to join if they don't want to. There's 330 other organizations that they can join if they want. And then with that, to go more into academics, because this will be the #1 reason why the students are here on campus, we do have 5 colleges on our 2 residential campuses, 3 of which are actually at both campuses. So there are some programs that are campus specific. But the College of Arts and Sciences, College of Aviation, and College of Engineering are at both our Daytona Beach and Prescott campuses. The College of Business is specifically at our Daytona Beach campus, and then the College of Security and Intelligence is specifically at our Prescott campus. So some notable programs, like I briefly mentioned earlier in the presentation, our Aeronautical Science program is what a lot of people know us for. It's our flight program. So if a student is interested in flight training and becoming a commercial pilot and also getting their bachelor's degree, they will want to apply to Aeronautical Science. I definitely encourage students, if they're interested in this program, to apply as soon as possible if they're a senior, just because of the demand of this program. We get a lot of applications. Aerospace engineering, we are #1 in the nation for aerospace engineering. So that's another really great program that we have as well. Astronomy and astrophysics, I mentioned the telescope in our College of Arts and Sciences building a little bit earlier. So that's a really unique advantage that our students get to utilize throughout that degree program. Global Security and Intelligence Studies is actually specifically at our Prescott campus. And that's essentially if a student maybe wants to work for a government agency, then that would be a great program for them to pursue. Forensic biology and forensic psychology are actually 2 separate programs that are also only offered at Prescott. Logistics and supply chain management is actually offered through Worldwide. And then aerospace physiology is a really unique program. We are the first and only program in the nation to offer aerospace physiology. It is a pre-med track, and it essentially is how the human body reacts in different environments. So one of those unique environments obviously being space. So it is a great program for students that are maybe interested in going pre-med and maybe going to med school, but being able to have a lot of options with what they maybe want to do in the medical field. So we've had students go into dentistry even, or physical therapy. So it's a really unique program.
That sounds really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this will be actually the last video that I show, kind of just showing more about who we are at Embry Riddle.
Blazing trails in technology, aviation, business, and cybersecurity. A future defined by innovation, finding solutions for industry partners as the world's premier aerospace institution. Our continuing success speaks for itself. We've earned top distinctions across our campuses and worldwide. We're training the workforce of tomorrow, adding value to the industries we serve, and expanding our growing global reach. We promote problem-based discovery in career-focused programs. We are the leading edge, a global education leader opening up opportunities for students. Our history and heritage spans nearly 100 years, founded with a vision of endless possibilities to launch new generations of pioneers and dreamers, putting the future firmly into focus for us and for you. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. What will you explore with us?
So next, the last portion of the presentation will be more about our application process and how to actually become an Eagle. So the first step will be to submit an actual application. So like I previously mentioned, our fall 2021 application is open for any seniors that are interested in applying. We are not on the Common App, so they will need to submit an application through our website. I always say I live by Google, so if for whatever reason they don't have this direct link, they can always go to Google and just say Embry-Riddle application and they'll find it there. But they can go to that link to find it directly. Normally we do have a $50 application fee, but for your students, since you were nice enough to sit through my presentation, I will waive that application fee for you all. So they can use that fee waiver code in order to do that. And if for whatever reason, if they don't have the code or can't find it, they can always let me know, and I can always let them, they would just let me know that they were in the presentation or one of your students, and I can definitely give that to them. And then after submitting the application, we will need official high school transcripts. So we do accept them in the mail, email, or electronic service. And there are further details about where to send those documents on the application site. And then optional documents, we are SAT or ACT optional. So if a student has test scores that they believe reflect who they are as a student, then they can most definitely send those to us if they choose. And then 2 letters of recommendation, essay and resume, are also completely optional. It would basically just give us more of a sense of who they are as a student if they choose to submit those documents. And then from there, funding an education at Embry-Riddle. You did mention that requirement for the FAFSA to be submitted, so they can definitely send that information over to us. So that is great. And then merit-based scholarships. So a student with above a 3.0 weighted GPA will automatically be considered for merit-based scholarships. So there's no separate application for those. That happens about 4 weeks after students are accepted. Beginning around November is when all of the accepted students up to that point will begin to be considered for merit-based scholarships. And then internal scholarships, some of those are awarded based on just different components within the application automatically, along with when the merit-based scholarships are considered. There's actually another one that is an application, and it is an alumni endorsement scholarship. So if any students know an alumni of Embry-Riddle, they could let me know. I'll send them a link for the alumni to fill out and essentially just endorse them. Yes.
I have a question about your merit-based scholarships. So 3.0 and up, and then there's tiers for the scholarship awards.
So we are, as of now, there's no specific criteria that we have set yet. That's actually being worked through now. It does change a little bit from year to year on the financial aid side. So if a student, unfortunately, I don't have specific criteria to like have the X GPA and X test score, you get X number of scholarships. It'll be based on financial aid's formula. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, all right, we can wait.
Awesome. And then internal scholarships. So if the student does know an alumni, they can let me know. I'll send them that link for the alumni to fill out. And like I briefly mentioned before, ROTC scholarships are also available. So depending on the branch and the campus they're interested in, I can get them in contact with that specific department. And then special interest scholarships. There's some special interest scholarships for being a part of a certain organization, such as like First Robotics or like Bex Robotics. And those special interest scholarships are posted on our financial aid website. So students can explore those options if they potentially are a part of specific organizations. And then external scholarships, if a student happens to get any other external scholarships, they can definitely stack those on top of any other award that they get. So that is kind of the last of the information that I have.
Okay.
We always do like to end every presentation or every day by saying it's a great day to be an Eagle. Any other questions at all that you maybe have?
I did have a question about air traffic control as a major.
Okay.
This is just my own curiosity. Do they include a psychology or a mental health with that major?
So what I will do actually is, that is a great question. And as I become more familiar with the programs, I actually refer back very much to our degrees and programs page. So I definitely love this page because it actually shows you all of the classes that all of our majors take. And it allows you to filter through obviously the degree level. So obviously bachelor's degrees for all of your students graduating from high school. And then actually selecting a specific campus if a student is interested in a specific campus. Or if you wanted to keep it at all, you can see all the majors and see where specific programs are offered. So air traffic management would be here, and students can choose between Daytona Beach or Prescott for that major.
I'm not seeing your screen. I'm seeing the inquiry form.
Oh, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sure why. Can you see it now? Oh, let's see. Stop share.
Yeah.
Share screen. There we go. Let's see if this works. Do you see it now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So I'll go back really quick. I always find it by just Googling Embry Riddle degrees and programs, and it's the first page on there. So essentially this is the screen where you can filter through degree level and campus, and then you can see all of our majors and see like where each major is offered. So for air traffic management, you can actually see like the description of the major, and then the details if you select a certain campus, all of the courses that you'd be taking within the major as well.
Oh, that's very organized. I like it.
Yeah, so you can see that year one, they take some introductory classes. They do have open electives in that major as well, so a student can definitely take an open elective in more like psychology or humanities if they choose to, but they also do take upper level humanities or social science classes, and then they get into more specific air traffic management classes, and then so that would be that major, but then obviously you can see through all of our majors what this similar type of information for that specific major.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions? No? Okay, awesome. Well, it was great meeting you.
You too, Rebecca.
What I'll do is in the chat is I'll send the virtual inquiry form. So for any student that was interested in Embry Riddle, they can fill out this form to make sure that we get them in our system.
Okay.
And then feel free to share my contact information as well. So if any students have any questions or you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Okay.
Did you get the form I sent in the chat?
Yes.
Okay,
I already opened it.
Awesome. Perfect.
Okay.
Well, it was great meeting you.
Thanks,
I hope
you
you have a good
too.
rest of your day.
You too. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.